Action.
Action.
So, my idea for a short film is Drugs, Sex and Violence, a short film. It follows the life of a male prostitute, who will be referred to as Sex, a drug addict, who will be referred to as Drugs, and a abused and violent young man, who will be known as Violence. Sex has no family to support him, so works as a male sex worker who is occasionally abused by his customers, but refuses to go to the police as he is afraid of authority. When he is hurt, it is Drugs that takes care of him, as the three of them are friends, with Violence always offering to sort out whoever hurt him. Sex also struggles to keep a normal job or relationship due to his profession until he meets a girl who is understanding and her father offers him a job. He turns it down as he doesn't want handouts, he's too proud. He's then beaten and sexually abused by a customer when he says stop, which causes him to take the job. Drugs comes from an emotionally vacant household with an absentee father and uncaring mother. This leads him to be a drug addict and have a crippling fear of abandonment. This fear causes him to try and be as pleasing as possible to his friends, putting their needs before his own, as he is afraid that if he's not good enough, they will leave too. Drugs eventually meets a girl who has her life together and doesn't need emotional support, and instead supports him, which makes him ease off the drugs. That is until his mother dies and he overdoses, causing him to be hospitalized. Finally, Violence is abused by his father and is protective of his younger sibling, who he has a strong connection with. He's angry due to the abuse that he suffers, and this causes him to lash out verbally at his friends and girlfriend, and physically at members of the public. This causes him to start bar fights and attack his boss, who is being deliberately antagonistic at work. Eventually, he stands up to his father and begins to box as part of his anger management, with the support of his girlfriend. At the high point of each of their lives, Drugs' mother dies, and he overdoses, which makes Sex and Violence run from their work to see him. Vilence's boss tells him to stop, and Violence hits him and quits, showing how he can finally support himself with his boxing. Sex hesitates in leaving and looks at his boss, who is his girlfriend's father, who tells him that it's okay, and showing how he is now secure in his life. They go to the hospital and find Drugs, who has survived his overdose. They promise that they're going to help him through this, and showing how he no longer has to fear abandonment. My production is targeted at males with an age range of 18 to 25. What do you like about my idea?
Really gritty. I like all the little plot points in it.
It's unique, you know. I didn't expect it when you told me, which was good. I bet you could agree with this. I bet it's got great potential to be a great story.
And I think the imagery is just like, that's fucking brilliant. That's such a clever way of taking like ideas, like things that aren't people, and then by applying it to people to physically enact the human condition, which I'm guessing is what you're going for.
It's like the biggest theme is representing young men in modern society.
Yeah, like I think that's a really clever way by calling them Sex, Drugs and Violence. It's almost like a really dark version of Inside Out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually.
But I really, really like that. I think that's really, really good imagery, and I think that's like, I don't know. I just think that's gonna make it for a really, really good film.
In 10 years, you're gonna see Paris Ferguson inside me.
Okay.
I like what you've done with the names as well. You almost sort of objectified them with their names. That's all they represent. That's all they need to. Maybe I don't know. I like what you've done with the names. Maybe you could add something in the film that reveals their names or sort of get over their problems or something.
Is there is it a stylized piece because you've stylized their names? You know, if it's a natural, I feel like that's not what you're asking me. I feel like I've gone on to critiquing you.
There is critiquing coming up.
Alright, sorry.
If you guys are out of things you liked, then
I liked the storyline. I liked everything about it. Maybe you should talk though.
It would be good to get
Yeah.
a female perspective on this. It is why you're here.
Because you're a woman.
Oh, I don't want to say it's edgy, but like in a good way.
Ouch.
Like I would.
This is the right, we'll move on to the critique bit. Obviously, there's a lot of critique.
Critique. It's edgy. No.
You don't understand.
I mean,
As a woman, what's your perspective on it?
yeah, sounds pretty good.
Let's move on.
What do you like about my
I like
idea?
How the imagery?
The imagery.
Yeah.
Wow,
You
what
just-
an original point.
Listen,
You're an awful girl.
I am.
Next question.
What would you change about my idea?
It sounds really, really, really ambitious.
It's really long, which is what I'm concerned about, because it will not be a short film, it'll be a feature
A
film.
short film is anything under 45
Exactly,
minutes.
that's what
How
I'm
long do you
Yeah, I remember.
reckon it's going to go? For about 45 minutes?
20.
You're,
minutes, okay.
ooh,
Ooh, that's
you've
actually a
told
bit
us
short.
a lot of information. You like, how am I gonna get across that? You know, the drug boss is his girlfriend's dad. You know, there's a whole scene for that needs to take place. Although you could just let us interpret it, but then that's where it gets difficult because people can interpret it wrong, and then that's where it's going to take so long. You have to take into consideration editing, because editing is going to take.
Yeah.
How many
I'll-
years?
Yeah, that's part of the
So-
Finn, please stop breaking my shit.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's
They're having a bit of a pout, right?
Should I
that's
take
right.
it off?
No.
Domestic.
For the record, what just happened? Finn just broke a bit of my shoe.
Sorry, I thought it was. Sorry.
You owe me a new pair of boots.
Sorry, how expensive were they?
What you're saying,
About
so
200.
you're not saying.
Oh,
No, they weren't.
okay.
Oh,
No, you
we're
don't
kind of in
know.
the
It's
middle
fine,
of
I'll get
Sorry,
this group.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think it is really ambitious. It's not not doable. And then again, touching on the stylized thing, you've stylized their names, so you know it can't really. I mean, it can be, but it wouldn't make sense for me if I was watching a natural performance of real issues of real people, but their names are stylized and constantly referenced as.
There might be a little confusion there. I'm sorry. I've labelled them as sex, drugs, and violence because I think when handing out surveys, that's a lot more distinct.
Oh, so they
You
only
don't
have names.
forget who's who and what their life is. They will have real names, but if I put John, Stephen, and like Will, you would have no clue who I was talking about when I say Will does this. You'd be
Okay,
like, "Is that
right.
the
So in the
prostitute or
film,
drug addict?"
so in the film,
Well,
they're going to be
for-
called their names.
I
are they?
went on about that for a while.
Yes,
you could
I
have
know.
stopped
I'm
me.
sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
And you knew that was coming as well, because I mentioned
Well, I
it
did.
earlier.
In fairness,
Making me look like a fool.
No, it's a good point because I have been toying with the idea of actually making their names sex, drugs, and violence. So I'm glad you brought it up as a
It's a
confusing
fun
point.
part.
'cause
But you have
I'm-
to be careful because you don't want a character shouting after
Yeah,
the
totally.
character say, "Sex, wait, sex."
Nah, I'm
You
not
know.
because I think that's not serious enough.
Yeah,
like
you
in
need
the
to-
hospital, drugs. Are you okay?
yeah. Yeah.
Bit sketch.
I think
Bit
it's
sketch.
something. It's not just something I'd change, but I think it's something
Okay.
that you should include, unless you're really thinking about
I
it.
don't mind shit.
But
No,
I
you
think a really good way, because obviously, like you're saying, sex, drugs, and violence is a really easy way. But when they're called like Will, Steve, and John, it might get confused. So
Will.
I think if you give them each a color palette in terms of location, costume, and grading,
I'm gonna make a note of that actually.
I think that would be a really good way. Because so if you think about each one, to like sex, like if you gave them red, obviously they don't have to be they don't have to be dressed head to toe in red. But if you make the staple of their outfit red, drugs theirs could be like grey, violence could be black,
I would have
or something like
violence
that.
as red and sex as purple.
Okay,
Actually.
yeah.
What's
Well, we'd have
those?
And then
drugs.
drugs is like
Yellow.
black or
Blue,
no,
right?
actually,
Yeah.
drugs, drugs would probably be really bright and then really dull depending on whether he's on drugs at the time.
Yeah. Or you can get certain like shirts where they have like a cross pattern where they have different colours to get that confusion that drugs brings. But I feel like if you add that element of stylising, that will also make it really clear who is who.
Mm.
Because if you have, say, like, I don't know, someone in a jacket, a t-shirt and jeans, and the next bloke's in t-shirt and jeans, and the next bloke's in a button-up and jeans, they're all going to look very samey,
Mm.
and that's where you might get confusion. But distinct colour palettes really separate them out.
Well, I'm planning on having the characters be pretty physically distinct. So violence is going to be a big dude,
Mm.
and hopefully he'll be remembered as the
Oscar.
big dude. Earlier, the first bit of criticism he gave me was there was a little it sounded like you were a little confused as to like who is who. I just want to remind you that when I actually do the production, instead of saying Sex's girlfriend's dad, who is the boss, you'll actually have a character who you will know as.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the shots and the scenes for each character that I need to know who is that character and what their relation is to the main people, that's going to take time. And that's going to take more time than I think you might think.
You have unnecessary character relationships that would get in the way and take too much time.
I'm agreeing.
How are you going to use your locations effectively?
So for Sex, he doesn't live anywhere. He doesn't have a family. He earns money
Lone
during
Ranger.
the day and spends it trying to live at night. Wait, hang on, no, reverse that backwards. He would be prostituting at night. That makes
Cool.
more sense.
Do it in the
So they
day.
sleep during the day?
Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, probably. He probably doesn't
He's
sleep a
Batman.
lot, to be honest.
Batman.
But he would be, you
It's
know,
just the dark
in
dark
other
night.
people's houses or in like a hotel room. As for violence, I would have the home be.
Broken with duct tape on the ceiling.
I went to a house like that up north once.
Yeah, actually. Broken
Oh,
duct
good.
tape on the
Like your
ceiling.
childhood.
Yeah.
These like crack girls if you want.
Yeah, actually, a
Everyone
house,
must come to
a
my
house
crack
that
house.
looks like it's working class and kind of in a bit of a state of repair.
And is drugs middle class? Is
does-
drugs
yes,
like bougie and he
drugs-
can afford it?
Drugs
is high
doesn't
class.
have like he doesn't have a poor background. He just has an uncaring family.
Oh, well,
And
I
luckily-
do have a mansion if you want to use that.
Yes, luckily I live in Henley and have friends like you,
Nice.
Alright, you
so I can
show off.
record anywhere
Okay.
in that sort of area.
Um,
One of the main contrasts I want to get in location in particular is the difference between Sex living nowhere and his lack of security in that sense. And I was planning on having his girlfriend come from a quite well-off family, so have the best house I can find.
Use Zara's house. Very nice.
I remember that. But yeah, I was planning
With
on
Josh's house.
showing how she's providing this security not only in the story but also like visually.
I think you should have, or at least consider having one of the characters trying to solve their own issues on their own.
That'd be quite
Oh, yeah,
Just
but
to
my-
save
my
on-
question-
Violent solves his issues on his own.
Okay, good. Because it
Boom.
just sounds like there's a lot. It sounds great, but with the time that you have,
Just
Barris, it will be extremely
time
difficult.
management.
What's
I don't
the...
doubt your talent at all, but
Oh,
with
I-
time,
It just become boring to have all characters just sit there and go, wait,
they
how about I stop being a man whore and get a job? Wait, how about I
yeah.
stop taking heroin? How about I stop beating people? You know what, guys, this is a good session. Let's.
Wait, no, okay, hang on. I have a legitimate question. Your locations
Yes.
sound great, but are you sure that you can secure them? Because in my head, you're looking for a low-income house, a middle-class house, and a nice house, along with a boxing ring, a place or a place that has a gym, I guess, a place for drugs to work, and a hospital for drugs to be admitted to, and then you have to think where it's going to be safe to film at night for sex because.
Henley. There are zero
Oh
crime
yeah,
at
no,
night
it's
in
10 minutes
Henley.
for. I was going to say I made Olivia be a prostitute at night in Wickham.
And she was fine.
She was
so-
great, but she was wearing fishnets. She got wolf whistled by a heroin addict.
Aw, what a lovely
Actually, though,
girl.
but that is a really good point though. With a boxing ring,
Yes.
that's going to be really hard to get
Yes.
because Will was trying to get one for his last production and he could get it, but it was stupidly expensive to rent. So unless you know someone that has a boxing ring, do you need them fighting someone in the boxing ring, or is it more for like training?
It's more training.
Then
It's
you
more a way
might-
to like express his aggression.
Okay, then you might be better off not going down the boxing ring route, but like punching bag route, kind of like in the end of Captain America: The First Avenger. If you've seen that
Yes,
bit, you know where he
yes, I know
punches
what you
that
mean.
and
Yeah.
punches it.
And he sends it across the room.
Yeah,
Mm.
obviously he doesn't need to send it across the room, but that vibe would work better than trying to find a boxing ring, get permission to film there, and then have to pay for it, which is going to be
Yeah.
really
As
expensive.
for all the other concerns, a working class income house I can get to easily.
Yeah.
Middle class houses with money I can get to easily. Places
Stating facts.
to work out with a gym and that, I have 3 off the top of my head that I know personally.
Don't you go to the gym?
Yeah, I do.
Ask a gym.
So I've got leisure
Weird
centre
flex.
that I can go to. That they have
Well, if you were gonna
gyms
go,
upstairs, like private rooms I could use.
Yeah.
if that all failed, and then you were still gonna go with the the punching bag route, and it would just be a bag in a room. That's when it steps over the line of looking a bit like a student
A
film.
bag in a room full of extras in gym gear working out.
You see, that's what I needed to hear.
There we go. Yeah.
So that would lift it.
Don't worry.
If it was just like a teenager's room with a bag in it, I'm sure that would kind of cross. Like, because we want to make productions that look like Steven Spielberg. So
What emotions do you think my production will cause people to feel?
Bloody hell.
sad. I mean, geez, it's really sad. I mean,
Is
like
it
so many
really
people
okay
get
at
like,
home?
you know, by, and you know, there's many drug addicts in our year I can name off the top of my head, and
What if someone gets triggered?
I might need them for research, so
Use trigger
we'll
warning.
talk after.
yeah, I guess you
It's
do,
not like
would
you
need
decided
a
to
trigger
say need them
warning.
for
That's a good
research.
fucking point. Did no one hear that?
No, make your point, Gully.
What about like a trigger warning? Because you're gonna trigger a lot of people.
Mm.
Like, are you gonna like, hi, my name's Paris. The production you're about to see may
You're
offend
having a heart
you,
attack
and
or
if
a
you have a
stroke.
heart, oh,
Okay, so as long as I have
One
me
special
at the beginning of the production just saying, "Hi everybody, what you're about to see is deeply upsetting."
well, it is. It's
Green
like,
screen
It's
yourself
full
in the
of
gym.
drugs,
Especially when you're
sex,
saying-
and
You've gotta
violence
give a
would be
warning, though.
related.
when you say that sex gets raped.
Yes.
You see, that's where it's just gonna, you know, maybe cross a line with a few people. But then, you know, it's like 13 reasons why I had suicide in it. So,
And also raise teen suicide. Good job, 13 reasons why.
well, yeah, exactly. But then,
Did it
I don't know.
actually?
Yes.
That's so
I feel like at the end of it, you'll probably feel like quite happy because you're saying that they all kind of band back together and help each other out.
B.
Sounds like an
Yeah,
emotional roller coaster.
The end is like the moment of reflection. You know, it's the, hey guys, we're alright.
Oh yeah, my question.
Yeah.
What is the
Best
actual
students of Harvard
ending?
making
Yeah.
this film.
The actual ending is at the hospital bed with
Best
them
students of Harvard making
verbally
this film.
saying that they were gonna help drugs.
From okay, I'm trying to be picky to help you.
No, be picky.
But
this
if
is
I
super
was like watching something and it was all like, guys, look at our friend in the hospital bed. We're gonna get better, and it just zooms out and it will sink them by fucking eyes. Like, there's so many better
Why can't
ways to
we
end it.
just
Like, why
die?
can't we see? But then that's breaching on too ambitious, too long.
How are you gonna
I
get
don't
hospital
know.
bed?
Yeah, and also how are you gonna get a hospital bed? Like,
You can't
hospital-
Oh yeah,
and like
sorry.
how are you gonna get in?
You can't
Like,
just
I
walk
knew there was a
hospital.
location I didn't talk about. There is a
Violence.
there's a Henley hospital place. If anyone has seen Violence,
Yeah, violence. Yeah.
I end up in a hospital room.
Yeah.
Well, I don't personally, but
Will does.
Will ends up in a
Bring a
hospital.
vest.
is it like a proper bed?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah.
And
Pick me
I
up,
was like,
please.
hey, can I film? And borrow a nurse. And the only requirement they had was don't put the nurse's real name in it.
Oh, we could.
So, her real name being... No.
Anyway, yeah, those are all my concerns. I'm glad I managed to.
Any
preach.
other emotions besides sad and then happy?
Really sad.
I would say
Rather
depressed. I don't know.
I think you could.
Aware. I would feel aware afterwards. I'd be like, wow, this do happen to some people, and it'd be like that, but it do.
That shit
Hmm.
hurted.
That shit hurted.
I think you should have some shock.
I'm a
value.
fan of happy endings, which is why I'm not going with like sex dying of HIV.
You're gonna hate mine then.
Because I've seen way
I
too many
like a
things
good
where...
sad
Yeah.
ending.
But I've seen way too many
Oh,
things
I
where
like
the
my
male
film.
prostitute or the male,
Oh, what,
like,
you don't
the
like-
gay guy
No,
just dies of
as in
HIV.
because it has a sad ending.
Oh, sure.
Mine
it
is too.
The ending, guy gets
Oh,
shot in the back of his head and misses his child's birthday party.
Oh, that's cute.
Sorry, I'm actually
Mine
running out of
finds
charge on my camera.
his
So,
dead.
what locations would you recommend? We've already done that. Wait, no, we haven't. We've done criticism by location. What locations would you recommend? Is there anything you would recommend?
None
No.
that we've already spoken about.
Cool. What type of characters should I cast for the 3 main members of the cast? Who should I cast for violence, sex, and drugs? You don't have to give me somebody personally by name. You can give me
People
like
who
an
are-
idea.
Who people who are easy
Dwayne the Rock
manipulated.
Johnson. No.
People who are easily manipulated because there's no way a sane person will do the things you're requiring.
Mm.
You don't know my
Pirates.
friends.
Well, I'm one of them,
I
so...
think you should be all three of them. No. I'd
Oh,
say
we
for
should
like
fight.
violence, you need like a pretty tough dude. For drugs, you're gonna want someone who's really like quite like thin and worn down. If you've seen Christian Bale in, is it The
Look
Mechanic?
at me.
Is it The Mechanic that Christian Bale did? Something like that.
Maybe.
He plays a heroin addict, I think, and he's literally like all skin and bones. So you're probably gonna want someone like that. And what was the other one? Sex.
Sex.
Someone who's pretty.
Oh
It's
my
the
god.
biggest struggle because he's the role I'm most nervous about asking someone to do because I'm there like, hey, I need you to pretend you're getting the male prostitute.
Do you think that prostitutes
Don't
are
know
attractive?
rules.
It's not a very attractive lifestyle.
No, but like
Have you seen the A-Team?
that's the
The Ed Sheeran music video.
that's the second time somebody's told me to.
Yes, you should.
Have a wait. Were you the guy the first time as well?
I
on
don't
the
know.
survey?
Maybe. No, I didn't do your survey.
Finally,
I mean,
'cause
yes,
I'm
I
worried-
did.
Finally, because I'm worried
Yes.
about camera charge. Realistically, what platform do you think I should air my production on to reach my target audience? Which, to remind you, is male 18 plus.
Hulu.
Pornhub.
I'm kidding.
That is what I was going to
Pornhub.
say.
Oh my god, Pornhub.
You can put certain scenes on there.
Can we like
YouTube, but it will probably get age restricted. But that's
Facebook,
kind of
100%.
necessary.
No,
Yeah.
I'd ask Hulu because Hulu don't really have. Hulu's more teen drama.
Hulu is Hulu.
Hulu, and the one that Cloak and Dagger's
I don't know
on.
what
That what's on?
Free Cloak and Dagger. Freeform.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
two don't have really. I'm sure they'll let you have a short film if you ask.
I just
YouTube,
stick
because
to
that's
YouTube.
what people use. I mean,
Um,
I was
Be
done
done on
like
your cheek.
20
Any
minutes
further
ago.
points?
No.
Just be careful.
I don't think so. I think careful of your time management and casting. There's lots of people. There's lots of things going on.
Oh yeah,
Sounds
be
great.
aware. Don't rely on people on this course because they're busy. We've all got stuff to do, so
Yes,
don't be
we are.
selfish.
I'm relying on you and you alone.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you all.
You're welcome.